Between the British Columbia coastline and the vast Pacific Ocean, Vancouver Island is a treasure house. Many places of interest, events, a wide range of wildlife and natural features. These are the perfect subjects to inspire the collection of images and to reflect the diverse beauty of the largest island on the Canadian Pacific coast. Temperate climate combined with the diverse formation of geographical features provide a habitat for many species of animals, birds, as well as an infinite array of plant life. Vancouver Island stretches for 280 miles or 450 kilometers in a northwesterly direction along the mainland coast. The fresh sea air welcomes us to the city of Victoria. The seat of government for the province of British Columbia, this historic center of charm and beauty is a world-class tourist destination. The domed buildings of the provincial legislature form an impressive backdrop to the inner harbor. It was in the mid-1800s when the first Hudson Bay fort was built close to this site. Since that time, the population of the city has grown to more than 200,000. The downtown streets have a distinctly British character, with many of the original buildings carefully preserved. For centuries, the bays and inlets provided sanctuary for First Nation settlements. Today, the harbor continues to welcome travelers from long ocean voyages. A leisurely sightseeing trip gives visitors an opportunity to absorb the many sights and sounds of the city. Drops of dew shimmer like diamonds as we look east across the Saanich Peninsula to the southern Gulf Islands.
Spirits of the past are alive and well at the Forest Museum in Duncan. We were reminded that the first settlers started clearing the land just over 100 years ago. Vast forests in the area produced some fine timber. The steam trains that once hauled giant logs to the sawmills have been carefully restored and carry visitors around the 100-acre museum grounds. The logging industry soon became one of the largest employers, utilizing the skills and resourcefulness of loggers from many different nationalities. In the 1980s, the economy of this logging town was dealt a severe blow when the sawmill closed down. However, local artists transformed the town of Chemainus with a decorative display of large murals which embellished the buildings throughout the town. Today, the town boasts a thriving tourist industry. The flow of the Nanaimo River has carved a deep gorge out of the sheer rock, a perfect place to build a bridge for bungee jumping. Coastal mainland mountains fringe the horizon as we look across Georgia Straits from Nanaimo, where every summer one of the big events is bathtub racing. The high-speed craft race across more than 50 kilometers of open sea to the city of Vancouver. Stern-wheeler boats ferry foot passengers over the bay to Newcastle Island Provincial Marine Park. This picturesque hideaway has a colorful history. The 300-hectare island was once home to at least 2 Salish Indian villages. Before becoming a popular steamship resort, it was also the site of an active fishery, coal mining operation, and sandstone quarry.
The tide recedes, exposing a wide expanse of sandy beach in Parksville Bay. With the incentive of thousands of dollars in prize money, creative artisans have only a few hours to sculpt a winning masterpiece before the tide comes in. This phenomena takes place at the annual sandcastle competition. Sandcastle construction is undertaken by builders from as far away as Hawaii. Attention to detail is essential in creating these wildlife carvings. This exhibition is held in the spring, each year as part of the Brant Festival in the Parksville-Qualicum Beach area. The wildlife art celebration coincides with the arrival of thousands of Brant geese as they stop over on their migration route from Southern California to their Arctic nesting grounds. When the Scots first played the game of golf in the 1400s, they probably did not expect the pastime would evolve to include this type of challenging mini-golf course. Our mood is relaxed as we savor the seascapes along the east coast of the island. The sea is alive, offering an infinite variety of pleasing vistas. The sheltered harbor at Deep Bay is home to the local fishing fleet, as well as a family of Canada geese.
The smaller islands between Vancouver Island and the mainland offer many opportunities to stroll and explore the seashore, particularly at low tide. The northbound ferry is passing between Denman and Hornby Island. Here, the most available local building materials give the community hall a truly rustic character. Gifted artists display their talent in the beautiful settings of the Filberg Lodge in Comox. The surrounding scenery provides much of the inspiration. Totem poles have adorned coastal communities for hundreds of years. The sign at Strathcona Park has also utilized the skills of woodcarvers. Rocky tree-clad islands are swept with cool mist as we watch whales feeding and frolicking in the waters of the Johnstone Straits. The whales don't eat all the fish. There is always an abundance remaining for sports fishing. Vancouver Island abounds with wildlife. Fortunately, birds or animals which are ill or who have been injured can be helped at the North Island Wildlife Recovery Center in Arrington.
Some of nature's more colorful creations can be observed at Butterfly World in Coombs. Reflections of tranquility can be absorbed from the cool, clear lakes, majestic forests, and tree-clad mountains in the center of the island. On the rugged slopes of Mount Arrowsmith, an old log cabin has provided a refuge for many weary hikers on their way up to the peak. A deep channel provided access for ocean freighters to the center of the island. The detail on the Port Alberni sign portrays dependence of the area on logging, fishing, and tourism. Sandy beaches fringe parts of the west coast of the island. Bathed in summer sunshine, veiled in mist, or swept by winter storms, it is a gathering place for people who challenge the breakers or those who are enriched by the natural beauty. A beach excursion rewards riders with an ever-changing scene as evening colors paint the sky. The coastal communities of Tofino and Ukilit have boosted the local economy by developing the sports fishing and whale watching opportunities along the outer coast. The many coves, inlets, and islands in the region have a rich Indian heritage, whose people depended on the productive waters to sustain them. The eternal beauty of flowers are nurtured by sunlight and showers of rain, delicate palettes of color that stimulate the senses.
Hold tight, this could be a bumpy ride. The rodeo is in Coombs this weekend. Energetic individuals with a keen eye and plenty of practice excel at the logging sports competition. A step back in time when agricultural land was broken with horse and plow. This demonstration was held near Qualicum Beach. The pride of meticulous maintenance and careful restoration is apparent at a classic car rally. The seaside city of Parksville hosts these shiny showpieces. an opportunity to play some foot-stomping music at the country fair. Held in many communities, the fairs give participants a chance to show and share their interests. The rural lifestyle is preferred in many areas, and family farms play an important part in the local economy. The possibilities are unlimited for those who enjoy outdoor activity. Large areas of Vancouver Island are mountainous, and coastal forest land is often accessible for wilderness recreation. The anticipation of catching a big one is always present when the salmon are running. The development of the mountain bike has opened up the back country to the two-wheeled adventurers. Or maybe it's a man-made course that is more challenging. Hitting the ball around is always a good way to spend some free time.
Up on the mountain, it is time to relax and enjoy the scenery, resting up for the trek down to the valley below. Descending mountains can be an exhilarating and sometimes scary operation. The towering mountains and moist Pacific air combine to provide ski enthusiasts with a good base for winter fun. From the top of Mount Washington, the surrounding scenery can only be described as spectacular. Looking skyward can often reward the observer with some impressive aerial displays. The Canadian Military Aerobatics Team, the Snowbirds, demonstrate precision flying and type formation at the Comox Air Show. During the dry summer months, forest fires are a constant threat. One of the two surviving Martin Mars water bombers simulates a firefighting pass. The Canadian flag is proudly displayed as the parachute demonstration team drop in on the show. A steady breeze is blowing. Up, up, and away, in all shapes and sizes, the colorful kites blaze trails in the sky. Sometimes flying machines do the unexpected. The design may be an exact miniature of an original, or could be something that was never intended to fly.
Rivers, lakes, and the ocean entice many people who enjoy boating. Peaceful waterways provide an opportunity for relaxing travel, while some find that a race to the finish is more of a challenge. First Nation peoples have traveled by canoe for centuries. The practice continues with races and demonstrations held in several coastal communities. The traditional Indian canoe is carved from a solid red cedar tree. From the canoe races of today to the ancient petroglyphs carved into the rock beside Englishman River, we are reminded of the thriving society that the Aboriginal peoples developed on the west coast of Canada. Many of the traditional customs, ceremonies, and dances continue today, which help pass on the rich heritage to the other cultures and to future generations.
Vancouver Island has a wide range of mammals, including wolves, cougar, beaver, otter, and mink. This black bear finds that blackberries make a nice snack. The color of their coats can range from black to cinnamon. Winter months would likely find the red squirrel curled up in a burrow or tree trunk. The rest of the year, it can be seen busily collecting food, which are mainly seeds from coniferous trees. Although this masked bandit is usually busy at night, raccoons can often be seen at dawn and dusk. The Columbia black-tailed deer are also most active early mornings and in the evening. They are often found in residential areas. The male Roosevelt elk produce a new rack of antlers each year. Very wary of people, they usually stay close to a mature forested area. A very keen eyesight is essential for bald eagles to locate and catch their diet of fish along the coastal waters. Providing this osprey can keep the competition away, they'll be eating fresh rock cod on Hornby Island. With a wingspan measuring up to 2 meters, the great blue heron is often seen along the coast. A swirling vision of precision flying. These shorebirds are alive with life.
Canada geese find special delight in raising large families. Their prolific production is apparent when the families flock together. A close relative, the Brant goose, utilizes the east coast of Vancouver Island as a major stopover during the spring migration to the Canadian Arctic and Alaska. The large supply of herring roe that washes up on the beach after spawning are an essential food supply to sustain them on their long journey north. The herring and the roe also attract other hungry participants in the spring feast. Wetlands and estuaries are an important habitat for a large proportion of the birds and mammals on the island. The nutrient-rich waters sustain many life forms including water birds, otters, sea lions, and orcas. The population of graceful trumpeter swans have increased over the past few years. Due to strict conservation and protection measures, they are no longer on the endangered species list.
The harmless garter snake is the only native snake on Vancouver Island. Reptiles and amphibians like frogs, toads, and salamanders play an important role in controlling insect populations. Mostly found on the moist forest floor, the banana slug can reach up to 25 centimeters in length. From the rocky peaks of the mountains to the lush valley below, nature has produced many species of plants and wildflowers. By providing some supplement to a natural diet and some water on a hot day, some of the resident birds and seasonal visitors can be closely observed, and sometimes they can be quite entertaining. Some of the migrants come from as far away as South America to spend the summer on Vancouver Island. Video technology makes it possible to slow down the wing beats of the hummingbirds so that we can see their delicate movements. It takes most of the summer for the snow to melt in the mountains. The resulting trickles combine to make their way to the sea. The journey to the coast can be peaceful and smooth, or become a raging torrent. Where the land and sea meet, there is ceaseless activity. Waves sparkle, lap, roll, or crash against the shore.
"10,000 kilometers of ocean lie to the west. Every few hours the tide recedes, exposing the intertidal zone and a variety of life forms. The low tide exposes a sandbar. 23 bald eagles stand in line patiently waiting and watching for food or maybe just to enjoy the view. The black objects moving in the distance are sea lions. Some of them migrate to this part of the coast from California. Arriving in the fall, they spend the winter and spring feeding on salmon and herring. Other marine mammals, which migrate along the west coast of Vancouver Island, are the massive gray whales. 20,000 of them travel up to the coast to spend the summer in the Bering Sea. Several pods of orca whales inhabit coastal waters. Different family groups often congregate in the Johnston Strait at the northeast end of the island. An area of the whales' feeding and socializing habitat has been set aside as an ecological reserve. This is to monitor and control activities that could adversely affect these impressive mammals. Orcas are capable of traveling at high speed, but most of the time they can be observed feeding and playing in groups, which can number up to 40 individuals. Their diet consists of mainly salmon in this area. Also, unfortunate porpoises, seals, and sea lions can often be included.
Climatic conditions on the west coast produce 4 quite distinct seasons. Winter usually lasts from November to the beginning of March. Some of the coastal areas do not have snow and ice every year. Inland, however, the seasonal breath from Jack Frost can produce some interesting creations. The combination of snow melting in the mountains and a heavy rainfall often produce a deluge in the mountain rivers. The tremendous power produced by the raging waters tears trees from the riverbanks and change the character of the riverbed. first signs of spring brighten up the countryside, and nature unwraps many delicate and interesting treasures. Soon the summer sun warms the land, bathing it with beauty and new life for us to observe and appreciate. The evening sun has beckoned the full moon to brighten the night sky. Occasionally, forces of a different kind break loose to create a more spectacular show. Soon, cooler air starts to breathe onto Vancouver Island. It is time for a long journey to end for these salmon, which are returning to spawn after spending the last 3 to 4 years out in the Pacific Ocean. A long swim against the flow of the river to this point has not diminished the intense determination of these fish to reach the shallow gravel streams where their offspring will repeat this incredible journey. The signs of fall are everywhere. It will soon be time for the maple leaves to drop and complete their cycle of life on Vancouver Island.